Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and this is the prediction review video for Bundesliga match day 12. And we're going to see how many of my predictions were correct and how many of them are completely wrong. And we're going to see how many points I can accumulate. 1 point if the entire prediction is correct, even with the scoreline, and half a point if the prediction is correct, but the scoreline is not correct. So let's go ahead and get started. The first game, it was a St. Pauli versus Holstein. I went for a 2-1 win for St. Pauli, but it ended up being a lot better than that. They won the game at 3-1. A huge game it was between these two bottom clubs, and St. Pauli ended up victorious. It was quite an entertaining game. You could just feel the energy in the stadium, between the players as well, because they knew how important, crucial this game was, right? And the way that the game went, it was quite an entertaining game, even though it was a bottom of the table clash, but it was a really entertaining game of football. St. Pauli, they finally scored their first goal in their stadium this season in the Bundesliga. So that was a big deal for them, and it got better for them in the second half as well. They scored two more goals quite easily. The difference between them and Hosengeil in this game was that Kiel were not really able to convert their chances, and Pauli did it. They looked more calm, they looked more composed. It was quite a mature performance from St. Pauli, and I think they really deserve to win. A lot of the credit should be given to the manager as well, the way that he set up his team. Kiel, they got a goal back, but it didn't really matter. It was quite late in the game, and it was just a consolation goal for them. So huge 3 points for St. Pauli, as they got out of the relegation zone completely. Like, they are on the on 15 points. So it is, and they would really hope that they can continue the upward trend, and they don't fall back into that relegation places. Kiel, on the other hand, 4 defeats in their last 5 games, the third one in a row, and it is really starting to look like a big problem now, because the gap is starting to become big between them and the teams above them, and they really need to do something quite quickly. Otherwise, they could be going straight back down to Bundesliga 2. The next game was Union Berlin versus Bayer Leverkusen. I went for a 1-all draw. The game ended at 2-1 for Bayer Leverkusen, so I don't get any point in this game. I expected it to be a very close game, and it was quite a close game. It was not like an entertaining game, to be very honest with you. There were very few chances created by both the teams. It was both the teams cut out each other. It felt almost like a chess game, with the managers trying to cut each other out, and it ended up being quite a boring game. As I said before, both the teams would have period where they would have a possession, but they wouldn't really do anything with that. I think there was sort of only 7 or 8 chances created in the entirety of game by the both side of the team. So that just shows how bad of a game it was. The first goal, I think Leverkusen got lucky with that first goal. Union Berlin's defense got caught by surprise early on in the game, and they got that first goal. They came back with a good goal themselves, Union Berlin, but as I said, it was not a really good game of football. And Leverkusen, it was a game of moment, and Leverkusen took the moment, made sure that they got rewarded for their moment. They scored, but it really mattered. They stepped up. A great pass from Ritz from that right hand side, and Schick steps up and beats his defender and scores that goal. Important goal, a huge goal for them. They get that win. They needed those 3 points, and they are now just 7 points behind Bayern Munich. And for them, the title race is still open, and I agree with that. Like, the title race is still open for them, just 7 points behind Bayern Munich. Union Berlin, on the other hand, their winless on now extends to 5 games, and now they are just not able to win 3 of them, which have been defeats as well. So they are not in a good run of form. They've gone out of the top 10 for the first time this season. They dropped to 11th, and that's not the problem. That the problem is the difference between them and 16th place Heidenheim is just 6 points. So one more bad result, and they could be really close to those relegation teams. So they really need to back up and need to start winning. Otherwise, it could be a really big problem for Union Berlin. Up next was Augsburg versus Bochum. I went for a 2-0 win. It ended up being a 1-0 win, so I get half a point. This game, it was a very close game, but it was not a really good game of football. Both these teams came into this in the game with not much of a confidence, and their forms were not good as well, and that showed in that game. I mean, they struggled really hard to create anything. There was literally nothing to talk about in this game, if I'm being very honest with you, apart from that one big incident, the penalty incident. at that goal. Augsburg, the goal, they got the penalty, they converted it, and that was basically it in this game. It was a really bad performance from both of the side, and as I said, I expected it this so happened with the way that both of them have been playing. It was expected. They got the goal, they got the 3 points. It was very important for them. They know they have with that win, they are now 13th in the table. So they have gone far away in terms of ranking, but in terms of points, they are still not far away. But they would be, when they look at the table, they would be really happy that they are on 13. So Augsburg, they would hope that this win can change, their fortunes around, and they can maybe try to get a couple of wins and get a momentum. Bochum, on the other hand, I mean, now it is basically getting really ridiculous, if I'm being very honest with you. 12 games in and they're still not win a single game, and the thing is that there is no progress or anything in their performance or anything. You just don't see anything from that gives you confidence that they are going to break this curse of not winning a single game. But at the moment, as I said, 12 games still winless, and week by week it is getting pretty clear that their stay in Bundesliga is looking likely to be over. The next one was Werder Bremen versus Stuttgart. I went for a very close 2-1 win for Werder Bremen. It ended up being a 2-all draw, so I don't get any point. The thing I said in the prediction video as well, that it is going to be a very close game, and the only reason I'm going with Bremen was because they were the home side. I thought that might give them an edge. It did not happen. It was a very hard fought contest, but it was quite an entertaining game. It was one of the better games in Bundesliga this weekend as compared to the other two that we just talked about. They were hard fought games as well, but in terms of entertainment value, I think this was a very good game of football. The one that you can go back and watch. It was one of those games, end to end stuff. Both teams are creating chance after chance, and it was a good day out for basically for both sides of players, for the keeper as well. Both of them made some crucial saves as well, and in the end, in my opinion, it was a fair result. I mean, both sides of, I don't think that any Bremen fan or any Stuttgart fan can with full confidence can say that we deserve to get the full 3 points. I just don't agree with it. I don't think that anybody would disagree that it was a fair result and both teams deserve to get a point out of it at least, and I think they would be happy with a point as well because of how the game went in the end, and it was an important win. I keep on saying every point is matters at the moment, because how tight the league is going, you just don't want to drop any points at the moment. Both teams stay where they were as well before the match they started. So in the end, it was quite a good day for both of them. The next game is where I messed up completely, and I think nobody saw that one coming. It was RB Leipzig versus Wolfsburg. I went for a 2-all draw. It ended up being a 5-1 thrashing of Leipzig by Wolfsburg. I mean, it was a game, as I said, no, I really did not think this was gonna go this way, but Wolfsburg were, on a different level to Leipzig on that day. They completely outplayed them. The way that they carved them open, it was with so ease. The movement of the ball, of the Wolfsburg player was amazing. The fluidity, the way that they moved the ball in that game, it was something else. And Leipzig really did not have answer to what Wolfsburg were doing. Like, you couldn't really believe that it was the same Leipzig, who were bossing the games a month ago. It basically looked like a ghost of that team. It was so easy for Wolfsburg, and they took full advantage of Leipzig being in under confidence and whatnot. They really did not care. They just had their fun. They scored the goals for fun as well. It was a really dominating performance for Leipzig. Their third win in a row, that has put them that has taken them up to 8th, and they are now back in contention for those European places. With the way that teams are dropping points at the top, they know they have got a full chance to get back into those European places. And I think with the way they are playing, if they continue with that, there's a big chance before we go to the Christmas break, they might be in one of those European places. Leipzig, on the other hand, I really don't know what has happened to them. It is the fourth defeat in their last 5 games. Nothing is really working for them. Whatever they are trying, it is going all downhill. They are almost out of the Champions League as well. And their league title is not looking good as well. They're only a big hope at the moment, and the charge for the title, I personally think it is over. With the confidence that they are in, I think it's going to be really hard for them to get back. They can still come back, but it is looking really hard. And for them, in my opinion, the best thing at the moment is to concentrate on the DFB Pokal. They have the game coming up the round of 16, so that is going to be an important game. They are playing against Frankfurt, so it's not going to be an easy game. In terms of the league, they have slipped down to 5th as well, and and there is no confidence at the moment for Leipzig. They really need to turn things around, because otherwise it could get really ugly, and it could get ugly really fast. Up next, it was Freiburg versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. I went for a 2-all draw. I expected this game to be a very entertaining one. It was an entertaining game. It ended up a 3-1 win for Freiburg. So again, I don't get any points in this game as well. But as I said, I expected a very good game of football, which it was. I expected goals, and we got the goals as well. The difference in this game was basically very simple. Gladbach created a lot of chances. They did not convert them. Freiburg created a lot of chances, and they converted those chances. That was the only difference. Apart from that, but I think both the teams were equal. They basically created the same number of chances as well. It was a great game of football. But again, I would say has been a problem for Gladbach. They have a great striker in Kleindis at the top. He has scored as well, but unfortunately for him, he has not really had the support of other players, and I think that is the reason why Gladbach are not really what's the word I want to use here, really at their full strength. They are not really competing for those European places, because I still think they have a good squad, Gladbach, and if they are able to distribute the goals amongst the team, then they can really go ahead and challenge for those European places. But as long as it's only Kleindis who is the one scoring the goals, they are going to struggle. And with this defeat, they have dropped down to 10th in the table. Freiburg, on the other hand, important win for them. They have moved up to 6th in the table, and in those European places, they really want, they are really fighting to be stay there, and their aim at the moment is to somehow qualify for the Champions League. And with the way they are playing, I think they could really do it. It's looking really good for Freiburg at the moment. Then it was the biggest game of the weekend in the entirety of Europe. It was Classical Derby. It was Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. I went for a 1-all draw. The game ended up being a 1-all draw, so I get the 1 point exactly. It was a really good game of football. The game sort of a game that you expected. The Bayern Munich to have a lot of possession, Borussia Dortmund to sit back and let Bayern have the ball and then hit them on the counter attack. It was a really good game of football. It went exactly as I expected it to be. Both teams really went at it. Bayern, again, they had majority of the possession. They basically controlled the game, but it was Borussia Dortmund who got the first goal, and it was a goal. What a goal from Gattings! I mean, it was one of those goals that deserved to win a game. I said that in my review of the game as well, that goal should have been the winner of the game, but unfortunately for him, they were not really able to get across the line. 86 minutes up the steps Jamal Musiala, especially with a header. I mean, this Musiala and his headers are really becoming an interesting story of the season. He steps up a very important moment of the game. Make sure that he is the the main guy, and he scores the goal. Harry Kane got injured for Bayern Munich as well, so that was a big blow to them midway through the game. He did not play last night in the DFB Pokal as well, so it is a worry whether how long he's going to be injured. But Musiala stepped up, he scored the goal. It ended up being a 1-all draw. A big result by Borussia Dortmund would be a bit the thing with that result is, I said that the same thing in my review as well. The thing with that result was, if Borussia Dortmund had conceded in a 60th minute or the 65th minute, they would be really happy with that draw. But the only reason that they would be quite disappointed is they conceded in the 86th minute. That is the only reason they would be disappointed. Apart from that, it was a very good game of football, a fair result. Bayern Munich have dropped 2 points. Dortmund were not really able to take advantage of that. They are still 10 points behind them. But for other teams, especially like Frankfurt, they just now are 4 points behind Bayern Munich. So for them, Dortmund have sort of done a good favor. In the end, a good game of football and a fair result in my opinion. The next game was Mainz versus Hoffenheim. I went for a 1-0 win for Mainz. It ended up being a 2-0 win for Mainz, so I gained half a point. I expected it to be a lot closer, this game, to be very honest with you, but Mainz totally outclassed Hoffenheim. I mean, they were really good that game. Jonathan about that with a brace taking his tally to 9 goals for this season. I mean, as I say, they were really good. Hoffenheim never really stood a chance. The way that Mainz controlled the ball, the way they moved the ball, Hoffenheim were really not getting closer to them. And the more Baghdad keeps on scoring the goals, the more Mainz continue to win. They have won their 4 out of their last 5 games, 3 in a row. That has taken them up to 7th, a point behind those European places. So they are still in they are really they are fighting for those European places. So it is looking like a good season for Mainz. They are in a great form at the moment, and they would hope that they can continue. And as long as Baghdad continues to score those goals, they are really going to be in contention contention for those European places. Hoffenheim, on the other hand, another defeat for them. They are dropped down to 14th, and the season, to be very honest, it's not really going as they would have expected, and they would hope that they can turn things around quite quickly. And the last game for match day 12 was Heidenheim versus Frankfurt. I went for a 3-0 win for Frankfurt. It ended up being a 4-0 win for Frankfurt, so I get another half a point. So I guess that is 3 points out of a possible 10. It's the same number of points that I got in the Premier League as well. Talking about the game, as I said, it was a very easy win for Frankfurt. It was like they were really good. Frankfurt have sort of become one of my favorite teams in the Bundesliga to watch this season. The way that they move the ball, I keep on saying that you can check, this is on record, I've said their counter attacks is probably one of the best in Europe. So I think, in my opinion, at the top at the moment, the way that they just let their players go, the moment they get on the counter attack, it is very hard to stop them. And again, it was like Omar Mamouche, his another brace for him, 13 goals already in the season. He is having one hell of a season, to be very honest with you. And again, like, it was very easy. Heidenheim, nothing, like they did not offer anything to them. There was no threat for them. It was quite a pitiful performance from them. It looked like men against boys. Frankfurt were just way better. 4th win in a row for them. That puts them second in the table, as I said, 4 points behind Bayern Munich. And they would be, with the way that they are playing and the confidence that they have at the moment, they would really think that they can go ahead and catch Bayern Munich at the moment with the way that they are playing. Heidenheim, on the other hand, it is completely different for them. 4 defeat in a row, that has put them in the relegation places. I mean, 16th in the table, and with the way that they are playing, like nothing is working out for them, not even in Europe as well, and now in the Liga as well. As it is not a good time to be a Heidenheim fan. As I said, I just got 3 points. That was the end of my prediction review. I got 3 out of a possible 10. It could have been a bit better. I mean, the biggest surprise for me was the Leipzig result. I think that made my prediction a bit bad. Apart from that, I think it was almost a fair result in my opinion. That's it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of my predictions and my review as well in the comments section below, and tell me how many of your predictions came true as well. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of this year, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and help us out. Until next time, bye bye.